Well, good morning. Joining me here on the chancel steps is someone who really needs no introduction to many folks at Wilshire. This is Laurie Taylor, who many of you will recall was is a former staff member here, and for the past 5 years has been the founding executive director of the Grief and Loss Center of North Texas. Wilshire helped start this center, although it is a non-sectarian service that is open to anyone of any faith or no faith at all. This is housed here at Wilshire currently, and we have a lot of Wilshire folks involved as well. Man, that song we just sang, Laurie, that about sowing in tears, and that's exactly what you're doing, it seems. Tell us about some of the people that you're working with through the Grief and Loss Center.
We started out the first year with 125 people. Last year, in our fifth full year, we ended up with 994 people. Grief is rampant. We all love people that we lose. We see people who are suffering from death, from suicide, from homicide. We have little children in our children's programs. We have high schoolers in some of our poorest schools in Dallas. The counselors ask us to please do death, dying, and deportation instead of just loss by death at some of the schools. And the last school we were at, we asked, well, the high schoolers who are coming, is it mostly death, mostly deportation? Can you give us an idea? She said all of the above for each one of them. So there's a lot of pain. We see widows and widowers and parents who have lost children. It just goes on, and what a joy it is for us to be honored and privileged to walk alongside people who are grieving.
Well, so we started this idea with one person, and that was you, and the gifts and passions that you had, and you're still the only paid staff member of the enterprise, but there's a lot more. With 900 people, you're not doing that all by yourself. No. Tell us about the volunteers and maybe ways other people could get involved as volunteers.
We absolutely could not do it if it weren't for the volunteers, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So many people reach out and come and help. They work with the children, they're in the schools. They don't get paid for gas, and some of the schools you have to drive a long way to get to. We have a group of, I guess our largest number of volunteers right now are at a school in Rowlett with me on Thursday afternoons to do some tornado trauma groups, and also a group for 4 little children whose parents have died, not in the tornado. So the volunteers we have, we honestly could not do it without them. If you're interested in volunteering, don't let it scare you. Death is not as scary as it seems. People just need to be loved. You can have all the string of degrees and all that. You know, bottom line, just love the people and be there and be present and listen. And if that's something you'd like to do, let us know, and we would love to train you and have you join us.
Wonderful. Well, so we have an event coming up in April after Easter that you and Doug Haney have put together, and the Sanctuary Choir is going to be performing a modern requiem by Howard Goodall, Eternal Light. And everyone's invited to that, obviously. This is a benefit to raise awareness about the Grief and Loss Center. But Laurie, it seems that music plays a special role in those who are grieving. Can you tell us what that connection is?
Yeah, grief has no language. I speak Portuguese and I speak English. There's no word in Portuguese or English. There's no word in any language of any person I've ever talked with that can express grief through vocabulary. It is it's the most, the deepest, the most profound experience a person can have, and it's also the most intimate. Grief rests deep in the very smallest corner of the soul. Nothing permeates that except for music. Music can reach in and permeate a soul and heal and touch and bring tears, but tears of healing. So we are so grateful to the Sanctuary Choir for allowing us to participate in the Requiem and to bring our clients and for them to find out that someone wrote this beautiful music through his own pain, and he's sharing his grief through the beautiful soul-touching mode of music.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so you've been at this 5 years now. Been at this 5 years. What is one thing or what is something that you have learned that has surprised you didn't know beforehand?
I knew beforehand that I can't fix it, right? But I didn't really know I can't fix it. You look in the eyes of those little children whose mom has just been murdered, or their dad has just died from suicide or from cancer, or they've just gotten a diagnosis, or you have a young person in your office, young adult, who's on palliative care, their next step is hospice, or a hospice calls you and you go to the home of a 34-year-old mother like we did last week, has 3 children. I want to fix it. I relapse so much. I think I've got it together and I've learned I can't fix it, but I can't fix it. Only within our heart and soul, it's so intimate and so personal that no one can touch it. Grief is something we have to feel, and I used to pray for people to take their grief away. I don't do that anymore because I think grief is a gift from God. And why would we pray that away? Death is not a gift from God. No one I've ever talked to who's grieved felt that way. But grief is a gift from God, and it helps us through the hard part. It's like hugging a cactus. We ask our clients to come and hug this big cactus, and it hurts so badly, we tell them to hang on to that cactus. And before they know it, somewhere down the road, that big, horrible cactus that hurts so badly, they're going to look down, and they're going to see a teddy bear, and they're going to have the good memories, but there's still going to be some thorns in the teddy bear. But we can't fix it. We all have to go on this journey ourselves.
Well, Laurie, thank you so much for the work that you're doing through the Grief and Loss Center. We appreciate that. And Wilshire, this is your invitation not only to participate, but to help spread the word about the wonderful work of our Grief and Loss Center.